Alright guys, welcome back to another video. It's been a while. I've got to watch EVO, at home and everything. It was really fun. EVO was super exciting, man. And speaking of which, I really want to make kind of like a recap of all the things that we got for Granblue Fantasy versus Rising. I mean, we got the big news, of course, the announcement of basically patch 1.50 and the release date for it. Coming up with also a new character called Versusia, who's like the main final boss of the story mode of Granblue Fantasy versus Rising, even though she's not actually the final boss because you don't get to fight her at all. It just ends on a cliffhanger or something like that. So they are continuing the story, which is great because I was not even expecting them to push the story even more than that. So that's already pretty good. But yeah, before I talk about anything really, I just want to say, man, EVO was super exciting to watch, especially for Granblue and Guilty Gear. Those were really the highlights for me. Granblue was surprisingly exciting, to be honest, because I think most of us were expecting the same results that we've seen in every single tournament so far, where it ends up with like a near mirror, or maybe it's like a Siegfried doing his things, or Six doing his things, or Lancelot, one of these characters. But it ended up being Percival versus Belial. Of course, Belial being the character that he is, being the problem child of Granblue ever since the release. He's still the problem, so he won, of course. I mean, it's not the preferred result, but it's actually pretty nice to see at least a character that is not near winning everything, basically, right? Not to mention, Aaron the Mac is a pretty great player in both Guilty Gear and Granblue, so he definitely deserved it. But to me, Toro was the winner in my heart. He won my heart, man. That shit was so exciting to watch. I was so on his side for the whole time. So it was definitely really a really great time. But yeah, now we can talk about everything that we got for Granblue Fantasy versus Rising. Alright, so first of all, something that was really cool is that they got to announce, before all the finals and everything, they got to announce that they had, a playable version of the version 1, a test version of 1.50, which included Gran, Lucilius, and Versusia as playable characters, which is where we first saw Versusia actually, before she was actually having a trailer and everything. So for that version, some people got to talk about it a little bit. Apparently Gran got a pretty big change that they actually showed in the trailer of Versusia, where he's 5U. First of all, they kind of explain it. So they explain a couple of things here for Gran, explaining that now his charge has like a maximum of 3 levels instead of 5, which is pretty huge. Some people are pretty close about this, but Gran actually gets to charge his levels quite a bit during fights, but now reducing it to 3 levels means that he gets access to his 5U way more than usual, actually. So that's pretty cool for Gran, 100%. I think this is a pretty cool change, and it also gives him like a launch on hit, so he gets to do a whole combo on you, basically. So it's pretty awesome. And here they also showcase another change for Gran, which is Overdrive Surge L version, now giving him access to Overdrive L into Overdrive H. This is insane, man. So you can do the sword, and you can go into the EX. You can basically confirm your own Overdrive Surge with Gran. This is basically a huge rework for Gran, and that's great because the problem that Gran has had ever since, I'll say, old Granblue, and especially ever since they nerfed him for season 2 of Vanilla, the problem that he had is that he was never a really bad character, but just too average and pretty much too, how can I put it, too standard basically of a character. Like his moves and his properties were never that great. They were too basic, right? And because of that, it led Gran to have like a pressure that was pretty straightforward. It led him to have like, a playstyle that was very basic and generic, making him like kind of a little bit underpowered, because having a character with pretty good properties on the special moves and everything like that is pretty important for character strength. So this is a huge buff for Gran, actually. I cannot believe they actually gave him something like this, and I feel like they will keep talking about 1.50, the patch 1.50 changes, until we get the actual patch, right? They'll keep updating us on all of the changes. So this one came out today actually, so that's pretty fresh. All right, so that's huge, right? And on top of that, they also talked about having a brand new master rank in the game. So that's pretty huge. It's like now you have the grandmaster rank for the players now. That's pretty crazy. This is good for YouTubers mostly, because you know there's a lot of people who go for the challenges of getting all the characters to master rank. I can't do that, man. I can't. I'm not built like that, man. I only play Beelzebub. I have 7,000 matches. I'm struggling in the S++5. Okay, I'm stuck in the trenches. I'm stuck with Beelzebub and Vayne in the trenches basically. But it's pretty cool because you see a lot of people who want to like master the characters, and there's a lot of people who actually have a bunch of characters at master rank. But I think having a character or a few characters in grandmaster rank kind of, you know, it sets it in stone that this is your character. Or if you are able to get like a bunch of characters at grandmaster rank, it just shows how good of a player you are, honestly. So I think that's pretty great personally. I don't know if there are people who have like an issue with this, but I think that's pretty I think it's pretty interesting. It's just like a pretty big title. So something that's pretty huge that they also talked about was the fact that they are planning to bring back the battle pass skins for the game. This was my biggest concern from the very start, right? Back when they announced the Black Butterfly skin a year ago, basically, for Narmaya, I made an entire video talking about how this was kind of greedy and there was like a risk of them actually kind of harming the perception that the perception that the community had from this and the battle passes and everything like that. Luckily, they actually made a pretty good deal of the battle pass for this game compared to what it was in the previous game. So it's pretty nice, but still, I'm a big enemy of the FOMO. To me, things like monetization in video games and stuff like microtransaction and all that stuff, I don't really mind too much, as long as, first of all, it's not ridiculously expensive, but also the products are always available for purchases. So I'm not a fan of FOMO. Don't listen, I'm the type of person who's like in his corner, but don't bother me, basically, right? So FOMO is the type of shit that bothers me. It's like, okay, now I have to speak because you're bothering me. Because FOMO is basically, it's worthless. It's stupid. It's a stupid trend, to be honest. That would probably die out in a couple of years when everybody realizes, when every CEO of every company realizes, oh my god, this just sucks. Let's just not do it anymore. So FOMO is just going to die out eventually, but it's just a weird trend that every company is making. And for a game like Granblue Fantasy Versus Rising, I mentioned that it's not a game that is going to host like 100k players daily, right? You don't have that pool of a player base to like monetize like that. It's not going to work. You have like 1,000 players a day. FOMO is just not going to work. It's just them basically shooting themselves in the foot because they are preventing players who will come up later or who will come back to the game from like buying stuff from them. Like, just let people buy the things whenever they want to. And it's not just about the skins, right? For me, like, I like the fact that they're bringing back the skins. That's great. But I want them to bring back the battle passes themselves, because in my opinion, I think they should keep the battle passes the way they are, because they're the best version of a battle pass that we get in any fighting game so far. Right now, Granblue has the best model by far, but the fact that you have the FOMO is the biggest concern, right? And for a game like that that's pretty small, whenever it gets views at EVO and things like that, there's been a surge of people saying, hey, I want to play Granblue, let me get in. Hey, can I still get the Narmaya skin? Hey, can I still get the Zeta skin? Some people are even interested in the Seox skin that people say, oh, it's too generic. I think it's pretty cool. I don't want to play I like this skin better than the actual Eternal Seox. I like Eternal Seox. I think it's pretty cool. But I think this skin changes him in a way that is pretty awesome too, because it's kind of casual clothing for a character that is super serious all the time. I think that's pretty nice. So it's huge. Don't prevent people from giving you money, basically. It's stupid. So I'm pretty glad that they're doing this. But I want the battle passes in general to come back, because there's still other valuable rewards in them, things like the musics, things like that, right? The alternative character colors, the weapon skins that they have also in there. Give us all that. I'll be happy. Give us all that, right? Don't just bring back the skins. Bring back the battle passes themselves. So that's my point on this. Now, aside of that, we have other announcements that we got. It's pretty huge, right? It's pretty huge event. But the main this year is basically the Versusia trailer, right? Because it shows us Versusia, of course. And they also talk about, you know, the story episodes, new stage, which is pretty interesting. I don't think we got a glimpse of the new stage in this trailer at all, so that's dope. Balance adjustment for the entire roster, Grandmaster rank, online lobby minigame, and also Granblue's game mode, new battle pass and all, and such, right? So that's pretty good. But here's the thing, right? First of all, let's talk about the little things before we go into the big things. Granblues, I think everybody's kind of clowning on it because Granblues, nobody plays it, blah blah blah. And I agree, I think it's kind of silly, but to be honest, if there's something that they can really easily fix Granblues, honestly. I mean, I say easily in an ignorant way, but also based on the fact that I saw already the fix for it. They already had it, which is just making the game accessible through bots, right? Basically, just fill up the game modes with bots. Like if somebody waits for like a minute and a half, maybe just launch them into the game with whoever else in the world was queuing up for Granblues, and they have like bots in the game mode, and then the game mode will always be playable that way. They already had this. They already had it way before the game even launched. They had this presentation where they showcased Granblues for the very first time on a panel, and basically they had like 4 people playing, with one of them being like the voice actress for Vera and stuff like that, one being for Rain, right, the character that's already on the screen. They had all these people playing. In Granblues, they were already able to invite each other, which is an update that we got with the Vein patch, by the way. So now all they have to do is to add the bots the same way they had them when they were showcasing the game mode in that presentation. That's it. Granblues is a fun game mode. I miss it. I want to play it more because every time, you know, listen, every day I struggle in the rank because it's pretty tough. I'm struggling, right? So I like to have something else to do in the game without necessarily leaving Granblue, right? Without closing the game. I like to have something else that I can do just to relax myself, and I think Granblues was really good for that. So that would be good. Now they talk about online lobby and stuff like that. That's cool. Oh yeah, for the online lobby, they also mentioned that now you can see the connection of the other player that you're going to be fighting. I mean that's great, but I also hope we can have something like that for ranks specifically, not necessarily for casual online game modes, but just through the ranked matches, right? That would be pretty nice at least. But yeah, so that's pretty nice. That's really nice. I'm pretty happy with all of this. Now Versusia herself, we can quickly talk about her, right? This character looks dope. I'm a big fan of how she looks. Even when ever since I saw her in the story, I was like, damn, this character looks cool. I hope she's playable. But she was pretty giant, so I was like, maybe she's not going to be playable. But this is fucking look at her. She's huge. She's massive. This Batteria looks like a child in front of her. That's crazy. She's huge. God damn, she gotta step on people. Oh my god. Anyways, you know, this character's pretty cool. I think everybody's already having a pretty good impression of her so far. Another dope thing, you know, I used to play BlazBlue. I was a big fan of the game, and I look at her, I see a lot of Susanoo in there, right? And sometimes I'm even able to see a glimpse of Izanami, right? Things like that. I mean, she's pretty cool, right? She definitely oozes of that BlazBlue DNA. You can see it in her. So that's really nice. But here's the coolest part of the trailer, right? To me, I mean, I like Versusia, but this is really cool to me too. I wanna see more of this. So basically, they're showcasing some of the changes that they are making for some of the characters here. It's a pretty quick showcase. So here you see quickly Beelzebub and Six, right? Six does a running, and then he runs, and then he does like a far heavy. And then Beelzebub does a jump. Unisonic, woohoo, EX Unisonic. We've seen this. We know this. Boop, boop. That's not new, right? That's pretty normal. Some people thought this was new. That was like that was like 2 different hits. But it's not. It's pretty much the same. And then he does Sweep, which is still not new. We know that Beelzebub can do this 100% right now in the game. But here's the new stuff. Uh-oh. Chaos Caliber. EX Chaos Caliber. Well, that's pretty weird because he just used EX Unisonic in the same combo. And Unisonic and Chaos Caliber are supposed to actually share a cooldown. But they don't anymore. Well. As a Bubs player, listen, I'm not trying to be silly. I think Bubs is a pretty cool character. I think he's pretty fine in this game. Of course, he's in the same category as a lot of other characters that are super outclassed by the top tiers and stuff like that, right? They're super outclassed. They're not bad by any means. It's just like, why would you play them when you have these other characters, right? And this is why the other characters need to get nerfed immediately. But to me, Beelzebub doesn't need anything. But that's huge. And the reason why this is huge is actually because it might not just be a Beelzebub only type of buff. This could also affect other characters too. Because whenever some of the fighting games devs make like changes like this, it can be because it's part of a philosophy in general. For example, in Guilty Gear, if they decided, oh, well, we don't want DPs to be cancelable on RC anymore, which they did, by the way. DPRC is dead. But anyways, right, whenever they decide to do something like that, it's not just because they have one character in mind. It's because they think about a group of characters fitting in the same like narrative for a change. And Beelzebub, his Unisonic and Chaos Caliber, they fit in the narrative where two moves share the same cooldown, and the character has actually 5 special moves. He doesn't have 4, he has 5 of them. Unisonic is not Chaos Caliber Air OK. That's not the same move at all. It's totally different. So that's something else. And there are a few characters in this game that have similarities, right? You have other characters that have 5 moves too, and because they include moves that they have in the air as well. It's not just air OK moves. For example, 6 here on the screen has Gate of Hell, which he can do in the air as well. That move is Gate of Hell Air OK. It's not another move, right? It's not classified as another move in his move list. It's still the same. So 6 still has 4 special moves, and that's it. But you have another character, say like Zoe, right? Who we see even right after this, right? Zoe and her Thunder, right? Ground Thunder for Zoe is one move. Thunder in the air for Zoe is another move, for example. It's different. And I believe it's not actually part of a moveset. It's not linked to Thunder. So there's a potential for her having Air Thunder not sharing the same cooldown as Ground Thunder anymore. Same for a character like Metera, for example, who has her regular shot in the air or on the ground. Those 2 moves are also considered different moves in her moveset, right? So these characters definitely have a chance of being affected by a change like this. One character that I think will 100% be affected by this is actually Grimner, because Grimner has his he has like a move, a big ball that he does in the air that's totally unique and not part of anything else that he does in his kit, right? So that's a totally unique move. It even has a completely different name from his fireball, and it uses the same cooldown. That character is definitely going to be affected by that change, in my opinion, right? So so these are just speculations 100%, right? So I cannot really confirm anything, but I think it's basing it on what I'm seeing here. I think it's pretty legit that they might happen actually. All right, so next we can talk about Zoe's Ground Thunder. So I played Zoe up to level 500. Of course, it was at a time where I was not as good as I am now. I've been progressing a lot. I'm pretty sure I can bring Zoe up to S++5 now. But I played her for a bit and, you know, got a feel for the character. She feels great, honestly. This character feels amazing. I like the way she plays the game a lot. But the thing about Zoe is that one thing I always hated about her kit was definitely Ground Ultimate Thunder, because Air Thunder is great. Air Ultimate Thunder is a throw bait, right? She just does that and then she starts a combo. It's pretty sick. But this move sucks. So something that a lot of people don't know about this for some reason, ever since the beta, actually a lot of people don't know about this, but her Ground Thunder on close range has a hitbox. It's very slow. It has a hitbox that is really short, but it's a guard break, right? It's a guard break. And what happens is that if she hits the thing with the guard break, what will happen is that the other player will get hit and then they'll just get knocked down, right? If she doesn't hit with this move. There's a certain range, actually the range where you see her right now in Percival. From this range, the thunder will always track the opponent wherever they are on the screen. But the problem with that is that why the fuck would you use that? If they jump in the air, that shit's not hitting them anyways. Like, it's just not going to work. Now though, right now, Ground Thunder has a lingering hitbox to it. It's very active, it keeps hitting, it's multi-hit. That's huge. I'm really curious to see how it works on Guard Break now, because if you hit the opponent when they're blocking with this, and he has like a really active hitbox that keeps hitting the opponent, do they get to restand? Does she just keep going with the combo or what? Like, I'm not sure. But if she does, and she gets the crumple state still, we might be looking at some crazy shit from Zoe. So next they show Grand. We've already seen this. That's so cool. Lucilius also gets to have a ground bounce on this now. That's pretty interesting, right? I think that's pretty interesting. A lot of people are pretty disappointed about Lucilius not getting more buffs. I'm a little bit confused when it comes to the disappointment, in my opinion, because I don't know, isn't he a really good character? I mean, granted, people say that 2B is trash, and Beatrix right now is also really bad, and Lucilia is also apparently really bad because apparently doesn't have enough things. I mean, I don't know if I can trust Granblue players, right? Ever since the betas and everything like that, they've been complaining about things that we cannot really trust. It's pretty strange. Lucille's being a bad character and in desperate need of buffs and things like that. I don't see it, man. I'm sorry, I just don't see it. I mean, I don't see it. I don't see it. This character is a threat, man. He's scary. Plus, his damage output is pretty insane, even from mid-screen, because he has like a guaranteed like full combo mid-screen. It's pretty insane. This character, I kind of want to play him whenever maybe I get Beelzebub to master, right? Maybe I'll switch up to Lucilius. Maybe after Beelzebub and Vayne. We'll see. But yeah, that's it for the changes that they showcase, right? It's pretty cool. And they show more of Versusia after. Oh yeah, Sheep Girl. Oh my god, how can I forget Anila, man? This character, I played all these characters on this girl. That's crazy. Anila is getting a real move off of her of the ultimate leap. That's pretty sick though. That's pretty sick. Always nice to see a secret player getting humbled, by the way. That's pretty good. So she's getting that. I mean, Anila is definitely a character that has been buffed quite a bit, but she does feel like she needs a little bit more. There's definitely something that's missing about the character. I do hope, however, because I'm seeing she's getting more stuff on ultimate skills, I do hope there's a little bit of a toning down on the ultimate skill damage. That's the only thing I'm saying. I don't mind the character having combos and things, just the damage, you know, just tone it down a little bit. I've already made a video about that where I want them to nerf the damage scaling, basically, right? So that's pretty much it. Anyways, so that's all that we see from the Versusia trailer. It's really exciting. It's pretty dope, right? This character looking awesome. I mean, even the music and the little imagery, it makes you a little bit emotional. It's like, oh, I want to play this character. I want to cry too. It's just cool. And we also get the date, right? We get the release date for all of this shit, right? We get the release date, August 20th, right? It's pretty much in a month. That's pretty far, but I think we can wait. I think we can wait. And something that I want to say is that 1 month might be a lot, or rather it might be more than enough for the developers to make a lot of changes. They mentioned that the version that people were playing at EVO was actually not the complete version. It was just like basically like a sample at that point. And I want to remind people, right, especially for those who really like are super dooming about the state of the game and things like that, because I know there's a lot of people, and I want to say something to actually, you know, at least ease the spirits, is that the developers for this game are surprisingly fast at making big changes. If you remember how the first beta was, and then we transitioned from the first beta to the moment when they changed everything, it wasn't a long time. It was like 1 month basically, and they showed all right, we've changed everything. We've changed like the meter gain on walk. We changed dash light. Here's ultimate skill changes and stuff like that. It's like everything just changed, right? So they're able to make big changes in a very short amount of time, which is really impressive in my opinion. I think these developers, they're really impressive. So I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt when it comes to that. Like, I'm sure a lot of people would say this is like company shilling or stuff like that. I don't really like to do that, but I want to restore the faith a little bit, because I feel like there's a lot of dooming going on that is a little bit unnecessary, and in my opinion pretty unhealthy for the game. I mean, yeah, we know Nier and Siegfried are stupid, but is it a reason to say that the whole game is trash? It's kind of crazy, man. It's kind of crazy. But anyways, next thing we got is Vikala. Hey, dude, so many people are waiting for this character. I don't know a damn thing about this character. I know she's a Zodiac character, just like Anila, but I have no clue what's wrong with this character. I mean, I see where it's coming from. She's one of those purely gacha character. She's one of those. She would fit right in with all the Zenless Zero and all the Genshin. She's really right in there, right? And I'm assuming she's really popular in Japan and stuff like that, right? And then we get Sandalphone. Everybody's been waiting on this guy too, right? Again, I think I've seen a couple things about Sandalphone and the main big quest of Granblue, the mobile game, which is like what makes the sky blue or whatever like that. He's a pretty big part of this, right? So that's really exciting times, very exciting times. So yeah, I'm excited for the big patch, right? I don't know how people feel about all the changes that they've shown. I've seen some people say it was just like, oh, it was just for, you know, the excitement of EVO. It's not going to be great. I mean, come on, that if this is not enough to at least give you a little bit of excitement, then what will be, right? This is what's exciting, dude. Come on, you give them something, right? God damn. I mean, this shit looks great. I'm so excited for this character too. I'm so stoked. Anyways, that's it for the video. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, because I'm sure a lot of you have a lot of things to say, but you know, to me, I think the game is really fun. I do see a lot of problems, of course. There are things that are really stupid that should definitely go away, in my opinion. And as somebody who also played the old Granblue Versus a lot, there are things I really don't like about this game when it comes to things like ultimate skills or dash light, how aggressive the game is. I would like them to tone that down quite a bit. And I also want to mention, hey, when you look at it in retrospect, the very first beta, the one that everybody called Kusoge, maybe it was not that Kusoge after all. Maybe there are some things here and there where they were cooking. Of course, design wise, it wasn't the best. They didn't execute that really well, but I'm starting to feel like some of the parts that we've seen in the first beta were not that bad. So anyways, that's it for the video, man. That's it for me rambling a lot of nonsense and saying things that people hate. So yeah, all right, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.